Let's talk about niching up because none of us multifaceted, spiritual, ambitious AF women fit in a box. I am Prathna, and you're listening to Rebel with a Purpose, and I'm so excited for this episode because it's going to break all the myths you believe about niching, and it's going to give you the real evidence and the clarity to niche. Because when you niche and when you get specific, your people feel seen, and when they feel seen, they see you. Getting specific, getting clear in your business is so important because it helps you become known for something and it helps you become an expert at it with time. So let's get into it. Number one is firstly, people think niches are too masculine. And that's because we are equating niches to being boxed in, right? But guess what? They are masculine. Niches are this energetic container so that it helps us understand how we can be creative in this container. It's like a glass, and our creativity is the water inside the glass. The water is the feminine energy, and the glass is the masculine energy. And the niche that we create for ourselves is just like that glass. It is just like that glass holding our creative flow, which is why when people say niches are too masculine, I kind of agree. They are masculine, they are structure, they are direction, but it is so needed for you to be more creative. Once you know what direction you're taking with your content, with your messaging, with your clients, then your creativity literally skyrockets. So you do become more feminine when you get that masculine structure of having a niche. Number two is if I pick a niche, I'll be stuck forever. Now, we as multifaceted women always evolve. We keep evolving all the time. And you can always change your mind. You truly can. Like, give yourself the permission to change your niche, to evolve your niche, to change your mind. I have been changing my niche since forever. I started off with as a purpose coach, and then I got into Instagram growth coaching, and I immediately shifted my mind and said, no, I want to help people with their dharmic clarity in their business. So I want to be a spiritual mentor for business entrepreneurs, right? And so my niche shifted again. You can always change your mind. Let this be your permission slip. And you can always evolve your niche. You can always make it different. And if you want to announce that to your audience or not, again, that's up to you. But I have generally made a change, announced it on Instagram, and immediately started creating content for my new niche. Once you start working on it, you forget about the whole sunk cost fallacy, which is when you give a particular niche or a particular um idea enough time, and then you don't want to move away from that idea because you feel like you've already invested so much time, so much effort, so much energy into that idea. That is what the sunk cost fallacy is, because if you remain stuck to an idea or to a niche that does not make you feel alive, it is not going to serve you in the long run. And so it's going to require some amount of present discomfort to evolve your niche or to even give yourself the permission to change your mind. But in the long term, it's always going to serve you. Number three, you're not selling the modality or the method. You're not selling, Reiki healing or human design coaching. You are selling a transformation. You are selling an outcome. You are painting the picture and showing what is possible, and you are selling that possibility. And so, if you think a niche is about a methodology, that's not true, because your niche actually contains your unique methodology. It contains a new way of doing things to get to that same end goal. Your niche is just the destination. It's just where you take your clients to. What is that possibility and that transformation? How does it look like in their life? That is what your niche is. It is not a modality. It is not a method. And that's not what you're selling. If I go too narrow, there won't be enough clients. The fourth myth about niching. If I go too narrow, there won't be enough clients. It's actually so much further from the truth, because when you go narrow, you actually create more clients. When you go narrow, you actually become so much more specific and let your people feel so much more seen, and you become an expert at what you're doing because you're going deeper rather than wider. Firstly, there is a market for everything. You cannot go too narrow. You cannot niche to the point where there are no clients. No niche is too narrow. Because when you niche, you actually create demand by building desire in your content, by helping your clients feel seen, by activating that desire. And all of this happens through niching. So these are the 4 myths to niching. These are the 4 myths that hold us back from being specific in our content. We feel bad for letting go of a target audience. We feel bad of letting go of a market that we feel like we can help. There are times where I still think and I still wish that I could help all the women in the world. Why do I only work with spiritual women? But spiritual women is the target audience that I'm the most obsessed helping. I love working with spiritual women. I would love to go for brunch with them. I know I can have conversations of discussion with them for hours and hours. I know I can talk for hours on end. And because I love talking to this group energizes me the most, which is why I decided to niche down and only talk to spiritual, ambitious women in business and help them grow and get clear in their dharma and bring that to their business. So, understanding how to niche is a very important factor, which I spoke about in my last podcast called Unlocking Your Who, right? So, understanding who you want to work with and why you choose them. So, you can go back to that episode to get clearer on that. But I hope that today's episode helped you unleash what's keeping you stuck or what myth about niching down is holding you back. And I hope it gives you the bravery and the courage to take that step forward, to get specific, and to make your soulmate clients feel seen. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this short and sweet episode. You're listening to Rebel with a Purpose, and I am Pratna, signing off.